if you're able to get this level here last night, right? This was the level. If you're able to catch this, that this was a pretty good opportunity for a short, right? And then when you take a look at the fibs, right? It's not a bad habit to understand where you are, right? In this case, this halfback, the mid, is equal to the 50%. Everybody understands that, just to reiterate. So the half of the range of that day is the mid or halfback for that day, and you can also carry that on a weekly. So when you look at this level, if you guys remember, this was our critical zone from Sunday watch list, right? We talked about the green zone. We said if you're able to get inside here, that we should start looking at some SPY puts. If you guys recall, I did grab them prematurely, right? Just because of the auction that we had here, and I think I covered that, right? There was a lot of volume also that was spent here. And then eventually, when you're no longer agreeing on this auction that's occurring at the top, there's a very high chance that you're going to look for prices lower because you're not happy here and maybe looking for a discount. I'm not saying that this is going to continue tomorrow, and there's a reason for that, and we'll discover that. But this was a nice, decent pullback, right? Those SPY puts went up to, I believe, 100 and something percent that we got in, and it was actually a really good day. Intel exploded, right? I think 6-7%. I'm up almost, I think 71% on Intel, and then some other, the SPY puts hitting big time. And a few other shares. I was actually pretty record day in terms of long term, but the short on this was just pretty nice. Right, you took the short here. There's really no drawdown on your account at all. They had the small pullback right here all the way to that 2-day POC, and that was basically driven off of, I believe, this right here. That was the POC that we're watching, and the weekly VWAP, of course, is going down. Really good retest here as well, all the way down, and then you see today the formation on the profile, right? Does everybody understand what's happening or not yet? So in terms of value, how are we doing? Let's start smaller, and then we'll go into the bigger picture.
Let's say we're rejecting the higher value, going back into previous week's value.
Okay, so far, and you just have to remember, when you reject one value, you're gonna seek to go towards the next one where you guys, or not you guys, but where market participants agreed. So we didn't agree here. We had the overlap down, and then you see the value shifting, right? Minimal overlap, a lot of single prints here, right at the value area low, poor lows. Value is still shifting. Does this look like a short cover rally profile?
Looks more like consolidation.
Okay. And there's always something to be said. When you're not sure, check to the left. Right? So let's compare the two profiles that we had, right? Same levels, right? That we hit. If you guys remember, we marked all these levels Sunday. This level came, and what do you notice about this versus this one? What's the difference?
Way more access on that one.
Way more access, which would mean what?
The short cover rally.
This is most likely a short cover rally. You had a lot of access. You had a lot of access on the bottom. There's other time frame participants that found it advantageous. We went below that value, and then this time you came directly to it. And now, right, the access is not that great, but it was a meaningful bounce, right? When you think about it, where they opened, they closed identically there, right? Open and close are there. We're still shifting down, the value is being perceived lower, but we are at a point on the weekly basis where they did something very, very meaningful, right? When you go below value of something like weekly, right? This is our previous week value area low. You went twice, and both times, what do you notice?
Rejected it.
They rejected lower prices, and they're both times they brought it back immediately back inside the value. And while we might not be 100% accurate, but these taps like this and this, marking levels like this is pretty damn good. Not, but shorty marking, but this is just what market's giving you. But they're telling you, hey, we found some value here, we're willing to hold it. Does that make sense? So what is the key level for tomorrow? If you want to see if you're a bear What is the level you want to lose?
At 51, so you can start framing down.
Exactly. You want to start. We need to lose this 51. And once you lose 51, then things open up, right? Then you have to zoom out a little bit and be like, hey, where are we going to next? So really, this 51 is your key level, right? Can you hold this tomorrow? If you can, there's a high chance that we're going to probably auction higher and do some fixing here. Because if you're to go combine these profiles right now, let's hide these candles for a second so you guys can see this. So we're just gonna combine these with previous. And we'll combine. This is Tuesday. So here's your, we probably could have done just a weekly profile, but here's your profile right now. Can anyone make a, just remember what we did here. Could you do this? How does it look now? Try not to give all the answers so you guys can think a little bit before you get it.
Pretty similar, just playing those distributions to see if you accept or reject those separated distributions.
That's pretty much it, right? And from last week's value, right? This was our, I believe right here, let me turn on the PVP. Oops. And here's your last week's, this is our current week that's developing. Here's your last week's low, which is basically right here somewhere, which is prior week's value area high. So if you're to, let's say crack this 51, I would say probably a retest again of 23. Very, very high chance you're going to do that. Then ultimately you're most likely headed right here, probably towards this value area low somewhere around 13, and then ultimately 05 would be the level that we're watching. So tomorrow I would say, can you hold prior week value area low, this yellow line here? If the answer is yes, that means we're rejecting this bottom area, right? And if that's the case, then the question is, are you going to be happy trading inside of this distribution where you have single prints right here? And if that's, yes, then ultimately you're going to the next one where you have single prints again here. And then you see a little bit more volatility on top. There's some low volume nodes in here, right? And you can separate it, but there's a lot more volatility on top than it was here in the middle and a little bit here as well. It looks pretty wide. But when you look at the weekly profile, volume profile here, a lot of volume was spent at prior all-time high. We went above. They had a lot more volume in the top distribution, but not much, a lot of sell-off. You really want to see from the bull standpoint, I would, if I believe there's tomorrow's news, right? Isn't PCE tomorrow? I don't know why this calendar never works. But I believe we have price consumer, right?
Yeah, PCE, yes. At 8:30.
Yeah, so that's probably gonna spark something, right? It's gonna move the needle. I would watch for this level for rejection tomorrow, right around 7-11. If they do something crazy and they come there, you might have an opportunity to scalp, especially if they look above and fail. But pretty certain a wild candle will tap this level tomorrow. So just remember 7-11 and a half. I'll just think of 7-Eleven gas station, I guess. But watch this level play a role tomorrow. But I'm not gonna trade the news in the morning. But for all of you addicts that want to trade it, I would keep an eye on this. But for me, it's literally all about 51. Once you reclaim this 71, very high chance you're gonna go to this value area high in this POC here. Just because this is a tiny node, right? There's not a lot of participation here. They're just gonna fly through it. So, but as of right now, you opened the week here and you shifted it through these. If you guys remember from watch list, we kind of talked about you trade here. If not, you're going to go here. And if you can't go here, our goal was that you're going to go basically to the bottom here. And ultimately, I think the 605 probably going to be tapped at some point. Does that make sense to all?
Yep. Question: the 7-Eleven level, that's the weekly POC, or what POC is that?
That's a weekly POC. Yep. So that's your PVP. So if you look at the PVPs,
Gotcha. Thank you.
up here, and you can shift it. Typically, I like it on the other side, but yeah, that's the PvP POC is developing, but tomorrow's Friday, so one day, very low chances this will shift. The only way this shifts is if we go up here and spend a lot of time here, and that would mean the POC shifted from higher to lower. And if price closes below it, that's going to be pretty bearish. But right now we're in a 2-week balance from, when you think about higher time frame perspective, if you just grab this till the end, this is where we stand now. And we can just hide. Well, let's just do PvP on 2 weeks. So here's your, I would say, if you look at this distribution, and we can put the value area high here as well. So here's your distribution of this 2-week period that's sitting kind of like right here now. And you can see that, your POC sitting at that 70, 68 level, and we're way below it. If they can reclaim this, there's a very high chance you're going to go 96, and then ultimately this 711 will be a big target here. So I would be very careful tomorrow as the news come out. I wouldn't necessarily trade, but that's your guys' call. It's a bad habit to have it, because one time you'll win it, and the next time you might feel a little bit lucky, and you will hurt. Your accounts will be blown, and then you're gonna say that you changed and your behavior changed, but you really don't change until you start implementing rules that you respect. And as a trader, you need to own them. So a lot of you guys, I've talked to some of you. You're in a trend, hit 2-3 weeks. And then out of nowhere, you guys get a bias that you're the best professional trader in the world, and then you start increasing the size. You stop following the rules that you have, right? Whether it's a trade quantity or size quantity or probabilities, you start revenge trading, and that 2-week gains is wiped by 1 day stupidity. And I think a lot of you might suffer from this syndrome. So you have to start respecting your own rules if you want to stay in this game. As long as you have chips in the game and you're following the rules, you have a long play ahead of you. But if you stop, you won't be at the table for long. All right. Well, I'll trade live tomorrow after the news. I'll hop in, probably jump in, just kind of share the screen, and we'll go from there.
There's also news at 10 a.m.
What's at 10?
Consumer sentiment.
Yeah, let's hope that's not biased. Some of my friends were talking about the credit line increases and decreases that they're getting, mainly decreases from their creditors and banks. If you haven't used a credit card, you have to use this, or we're going to drop this. Last time that this happened was 2008.
That's not good.
Yeah, suppression of credit is never good, right? But let's see what happens, right? I'm not trying to predict, but I can see us taking a little break here. And I'm targeting, so if you guys look at SPY for a moment, I posted a few times today on SPY. Look where SPY is bouncing. Monthly VWAP, right? Yep. So if you think about this and the trend that we have been, you lose this monthly VWAP, you're going to drop to about 640 most likely quickly. And then if you use anchored VWAPs, I don't know if any of you use it, but here's this. This is your anchored VWAP pretty much for September, right? From the bottom right here, that's your monthly. So it's right there where you had a bounce, right? So if you're losing this might be a problem, right? Because then you have some opportunities. So then you could anchor from the bottom here as well and see where we go. And you could drop quite a bit. Ideally, they drop it here along with everything else to give us some opportunities. Because right now it's hard to find a lot of stocks to actually buy it. And for the ones that are, for instance, this is the one I'm watching religiously now. I'm watching for the setup on TTD to see if they give me something like this, where they give me an opportunity where they grab this liquidity on the bottom. They fake the people out, and then you would expect what type of activity to occur on the bottom.
Access.
Yeah, access and responsive people to come in, and you would find this price. Other time frame participants find it to be advantageous, so it won't stay there for long. So if they're able to offer me, I mean, ideally, if they're able to offer something like 32, I'll be golden. I'll be in, and then it's just a wait. I think this one is more like, if you guys remember AT&T when we got it. This one's gonna move like AT&T. We had it, from here, from like 14, 13, depends where you guys got in. But it moves slow, and then eventually hit a double, right? Intel's pretty much, I would say, the same one. Intel's just being driven, I would say, by frenzy. Retail is not biting in yet, but I think once we clear this 35 level, it's gonna be great. And if you're still on the 30 calls for Intel, just stay on, right? And then as we reach some of these levels, not a bad strategy to start selling calls against that call, right? If you have the 30 strike, you could sell some 55s, 65s. As the price goes down, you collect that premium, buy back cheaper, but you protect the profits, right, of the 30 calls. Just a suggestion, what I do. And then if you have a lot of shares, like some of us might have, as we reach these levels around here, I'm going to start increasing how many calls I'm going to offset. So it's always about protecting your profits, right? You might make a lot of them, but sometimes you give them back up, right? So when you look at this, POC is going to be around 55-ish or somewhere like right around there. Come on. Don't extend. So 50. So I would be surprised if they don't hit this level very soon on Intel. Maybe 50, and then ultimately this is the level that you want to watch, about 54.74. My average is about 19.7 now, so it has quite a bit to go, right? Before I'm interested in selling these. First target's around 80 and 120, but I'm going to sell calls here. If I get assigned, I'll let them have it, right? But ultimately, you want to go somewhere around here, 75-ish. Okay. Any questions from anyone?
Your VWAPs for monthly, weekly, and yearly, are they just still the same, like 0.13?
Are they
The band
what?
multipliers? Your band
Oh
multipliers for
yeah, they're always 0.13.
Got it. Thank you.
When the volatility goes up, you can increase it, but I haven't, through testing and regressions, I've never seen it actually work out better on any other ratios. I will stick with that. And I don't know if anyone's in coin puts. I'm still in coin puts, right? So coin is headed to 356. I'm sorry, 255 first, not 356. Probably going to bounce here somewhere on the yearly VWAP, 280s. And then ultimately it's going to go to 255. I don't know who loves Bitcoin or whatnot, but not a company that's in my portfolio, but I'm just shorting it. And Bitcoin is headed to about 96 and ultimately 65 or 66. So if you're a Bitcoin lover, keep an eye on this. There's stuff going on with DX. I don't know if you guys pay attention to it. This is a big level for the dollar, right? And you guys can see here this trend line that's been there for some time. We're coming, this is the second time that we kind of got here. And now, a lot of retail will say, hey, this is a double bottom. We swept the bottom here. So ultimately, they're going to expect that they're going higher and hitting this 100, right? And if they're able to clear this, right, then the dollar could really pop. Which, I think if the dollar was to move forward here, I would be really worried about gold and how the gold's going to do here. So keep an eye on that. If you guys look at gold, I know we have some gold traders here. I would be shocked if gold is not at, it should be targeting 4,000 if this is the pattern it's going, right? And this consolidation here that's been here for some time, right? And this is just the breakout. And if you want to use this as a trap, you could definitely use that. But here, this was a pretty lengthy, consolidation that we just had from April. And now it's breaking out, and they're not really letting go much of EWAPs here, so the demand's pretty high. And if that's the case, well, I think everything would point that you're heading kind of towards somewhere around 4,000 here. Keep an eye on this as you guys are trading. I'm not sure how you guys use your macros, but there's some concerns, I would say, coming up. And I don't know if you guys saw the news on Starbucks. Starbucks is laying off and cutting down a bunch of stores. Some people might call this deleveraging, but I think it might be a little bit more than deleveraging this time around.
Dunkin' Donuts better.
Say it again.
I said Dunkin' Donuts better.
If you want real coffee, go to Bros. Dutch Bros. I know you guys probably asked about this, but I'm gonna wait for 31 on Dutch Bros, and I'll buy it as it comes up to here. Dutch Bros is probably gonna take some customers from Starbucks here soon as their market share increases. So keep an eye on this one.
Shorty, what do you think about Celsius?
Isn't that CELH?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure one of the big boys is probably going to buy him out soon.
Oh, yeah. I think this was one of the ones that actually I think I have some shares of this. Wasn't this on the monthly bottom not too long ago? If I remember. I have to check, but that's a freaking bounce here from February. I remember this. Yeah,
Yeah, you had it on one of our watch lists.
I remember
Or,
this. Yeah,
stock
this is
scans.
this is an energy drink company. Is this the same one?
Yep.
Yeah, this is the energy. I remember this one. Yeah, I think I'll come back to this HVN here, sitting right here. The POC is going to be somewhere right here. Yeah, at about 45. Are you long from the bottom, or where did you get in? I'm actually interested to see what the
Yeah, I have shared at the bottom.
Yeah, I thought we had 22 for some reason, but I don't know if I'm coming up with numbers.
Yeah, I think we got it around, like it's in the 20s.
Looking at how is it? Oh, where are you? Yeah, 24. Okay, it's not bad. I mean, that would have been well over 100%. Target's also coming up to. Target's pretty good here. I'm praying that Target does this right here, and we didn't really get access yet. But here's the daily profile. It's not ready yet for me to add more, but I would love for them to sweep this. They swept this, but I need a candle that tells me that they're done, right? And what that means is if I can, let's say they're consolidating here, I need them to do something like, hey, go below and then go higher. And, the movie that we've seen recently that did this is this one here, right? Where they went low, we got a full candle, nice wick on the bottom, and that was Snap, Now look at the volume today, guys, on Snap. Did you guys notice this?
Is that considered stopping volume?
100%, right? If you think about it, I had it on my phone, but maybe on a different chart. This area here this is called an imbalance right here. So they came back, right, refilled it, and they're refilling here. So if the next target is here, then the next target for us would be about $13 on this. They're gonna have some highs in between, but you can sell. I didn't sell a single snap option yet. Ultimately, maybe start trimming at 13 and then 17. Ideally, they give us this. We have a lot of time on it. So this is just the beginning, in my opinion. Look at the volume on the bottom, right? The volume is telling you something. This company is ideal if you think about the demographics and research it a little bit. This company is perfect for a lot of companies struggling with the exposure to the, I would say, the new generations. This is going to make sense for a lot of, just like Oracle, right? I mean, Larry Ellison, right? I think he's got a pretty good vision on what he wants to do with Oracle, but now that if he gets TikTok right, it might change a few things that I thought he was after, right? I think Oracle is not going to stay a software company. I think they become a data center company. But now that they added TikTok, and if that goes through, that might change a few things in what they want to do. But Snap, if that's able to go through, I mean, he could. Don't be surprised even if it's privatized by one of the private companies now. Somebody buys them out and puts them into their platform, like Twitter. So there could be a lot of interesting deals with Snap.
Is there another good entry on Snap, or it's too late?
No, I think the blue line here, I mean, you're going to pay a little bit more than what we did, right? Our entry was very good here, but this is a pretty good level. As long as they hold this tomorrow, you're good. $8. This is pretty good to hold. And, if you're looking for something, I don't know how far their options go, but if it's, January 2027 or whatever that is, even playing some, lottery 20 calls far out. If there's like a 2028, 2025 call, actually might not be a bad idea to throw some loose change and see, because we're getting inside this bracket that we've been in, right? So if you think about it, here's a monthly view. Guys, once this breaks, this is a long consolidation. And keep in mind, this stock was somewhere close to 100 at one point. This can be another like PLTR, if you guys remember, like $7-8. We were targeting this. And then, I mean, it's the freaking 200 now.
Yeah,
Even
they
though this,
do have 28 calls. Sorry.
they have 28.
Yeah, 21st January, 28 calls. Yeah.
How much are they going for?
I think the $15 call is for going for 2.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
What's the IV on those?
IV is actually pretty high. It is 65.
Yeah, so don't go for those
Yeah.
options maybe yet,
Mhm.
because once they crush the IV, your options will cut in half. Because it probably averages about 30 on that.
Yeah.
But I can check the average tomorrow if you remind me on Thinkorswim.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, there's a tool you can check what the average is.
Okay. And what does that mean, like average?
So you want to know what is the average volatility on options. So if the average is 30%,
Mhm.
and they're asking for 60%, that means there's a little bit of uncertainty. And the dealers, the only thing the dealer can change on an option, right, based on the Black-Scholes formula, the only thing that they control is IV.
No.
And they increase the level of IV when the uncertainty comes in about a stock. So if they're predicting 60% 2 years out, there's something going on, because that IV seems pretty high for something like that, right?
Yeah.
And you're not, as a buyer, you don't want to buy high V, because if they cut it to 30, that means 50% of your option is gone.
Got it. Okay. Yep. The value will
Yeah,
go.
the value, even if the price goes up,
Mhm.
the gamma and all the delta, it was still not recover till it goes to like,
Mhm.
IV drops 50, then you're probably gonna have to go to about $12 for you to recover and make some money.
Okay.
So
Got it. Okay.
maybe wait a little bit.
Mhm.
All right, guys. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be on. I'll trade live, share screen, and then let's see. Hopefully, we get some decent price action, not the gaps, and stay flat throughout the day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
All right,
Shorty.
have a good night. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.